Hi, I'm Ellen Canner. I'm the Edgy Veggie, and we're going to eat and cook seasonally today with autumnal chard and roasted beets. Really great flavors from the earth. Stay with us. There's a couple things I really like about this dish. For one thing, it is super easy. It is seasonal, which means the flavors that come from deep within the earth, like sweet red beets and beautiful leafy greens. I think this chard is just knockout. I like a good styling kind of dish too, plus one that's full of flavor. Takes very little time, really just a few ingredients. It happens to be vegan. You don't have to worry about that. You don't even have to think about it too much, but the flavors are bright, it's easy to do. Another thing I like about this, it is a zero waste thing. You get these beets, you get these beautiful beets, and you get very nice long beet greens with them. Kind of looks like the chard. Most people chop it up, throw it away. No, those are very good. There's a lot of good nutrients in them, and you know, anytime you can stretch your meal a little bit with some great flavors, you should do that. The beet greens themselves have tons of nutrients and the sweetness from the beets. Now to roast a beet, that's where you bring up the sweetness. Here's what you do. You cut it off at the base. You have a free beet. You wrap it up tight in foil and you roast it at 400 degrees for about an hour. And when you're done, the skin slips right off. I've already beaten. But I want to show you what this looks like. I don't like food that struggles. This does not. Beautiful, beautiful. Slipping right off, and once the beets are roasted like this, they are incredibly sweet and they're beautiful. I mean, just look at this color. I'm going to dice them up. Don't be afraid of color. Now while we're in a chopping mode, we're going to chop the beet greens and the chard. And it's going to look like a whole bunch and you're thinking, what am I going to do with all this? It's a weird thing about greens. They just sort of sink into themselves. I picked up the chard, but we're going to start with the beet greens because they take a little bit longer to cook. Nothing takes very long here. Going to add just a glug of olive oil. Nice organic olive oil. Cheap olive oil because we like that too. Here are our beet greens. Steady. I just kind of like chopping them to bite size. And because I'm cheap, I know I will not have wasted anything. Not my money, not the good nutrients in this. Going to give that a minute to get going. Meanwhile, I'm going to start chopping the rest of the chard. It's organic. I like to use organic. I like to use local. I've got some kale growing in the backyard, but we're a ways from dinner yet. Speaking of waste, you can use these stems. If you don't want to, you can compost them. and you can make it really easy. Okay, we're just going to keep chopping because we got a lot of chard, and we're still waiting on the beets. Can you hear it? You hear it starting to saute? We're just starting going here. And because I like to season things up, I'm going to grab a chili and throw that in there. This is off my Ristra from New Mexico. Let go. There. You can use red pepper flakes too, just sort of crumble it in. And the beet greens are already getting nice and tender. To play up the flavors of the greens and the beets, I like citrus, and because the beets are themselves so sweet, I want to counter that, play it up a little bit with some orange. I've got some lovely organic Florida oranges. One thing I like about these, they're not sprayed. I mean, they are not necessarily Glamour Queen oranges, but they are good, natural oranges, not messed with. I do not like my food to be messed with. I'm going to add the chard now. As I say, big handfuls, looks like a lot of greens. It cooks down to nothing in no time. Going to turn down the heat on that. Meanwhile, I'm going to start zesting in some orange. This zester is so fantastic. And what? I've done nothing. I can just smell the citrus coming up. It's really, really great. What I love about this recipe is it takes no time. It's beautiful. It's just incredibly styling. You get great nutrients from the greens. You get great flavor from the beets. And we're also playing up the earthy flavors by topping it with some chopped walnuts. Gives us a little fun and fat. And protein. And omega-3s. All this in a dish that happens to be really great. The greens have just about vanished. It's kind of scary. And I'm going to add some juice now. It just smells really good. Okay, according to my clock, that was 3 minutes. We're done. I am going to put this in this very styling bowl. It is a great, it just sort of feels like autumn. And you can have it hot, you can have it room temperature. And if you want to make it more of a dish, you can serve it with a whole grain like quinoa or barley or anything you like. Here's our lovely greens. Here's our lovely beets. I'm going to chop up these walnuts. And I'm going to spill some. But that's okay. don't know, I just think that's so eye appealing. And I also know it happens to be great in the palate too. Got a little orange left to bring up the flavor of the beets. And we got lunch. Good flavors of the season. Thank you very much.